G'day traders, we're going to wrap up of Tuesday, March 27th. So on this particular day, probably one of the flattest days I've ever seen in the last couple of years. On the right hand side here, this is the cash market, believe it or not. You'll see one thing missing, and that's PowerPoints. It took until well after lunchtime, there it is there, after 1 o'clock to hit our first PowerPoint. And then right at the end of the day, we had a bit of a shove down against the dailies, so it's very hard to get on that sort of thing when that's against dailies. But some movement there right at the end of the day. So obviously very tough. If anyone can find something in there, you're doing well. And when you got lack of momentum like that in the market, it's very hard to have confidence in your kind of setups. Just to take you out of the 5-minute charts. Normally it's a bit easier to see what was happening because it condenses it down and you can see the trends a little bit easier and less noise involved. You can see we were pushing down to start off with, and you can see multiple crossovers of this predictive average. Okay, so in a market we see a lot of crossovers. That's not necessarily a good thing. Some of the best trending days you only see 6-7 crossovers, where on this particular day we had more than 10 crossovers by the time we hit lunch. So normally more is better, but not with predictive crossovers, that's for sure. So we're pushing down. At all the stage while it's pushing down, you still got to be thinking at some stage the buyer's going to come in. Just a little bit of a push up and then pull back without breaking down through support levels. Maybe believe that some buyers around here, and from there we had a little bit of an uptrend. So that was probably, that area there was probably one of the better areas to buy. And then again, this area here I thought was an area to possibly buy too, even though that particular area didn't work. But again, same sort of thing. We pulled back and then looked like we're heading back to the upside without breaking down through support, and all the other marks were getting a bit of a push up. So it looked like we want to go from there and also from there. But again, both those areas very hard to have confidence in just because of the lack of momentum. From there, we look like we were starting to break down. Broke a little bit of support here, or pretty much held right on support. Broke by one tick there, but in the end, it did hold fairly well. We pushed up here. The gap was up a couple of points as well, so it looked like a couple of times it was gaining a bit of momentum to go up and have a look at that gap, but 2-3 times it failed to get there and pulled up many points short, and then right at the end of the day we got this real push down, which it's hard to see coming. There's a bit of a shoulder forming there, so if you're really in tune with the markets and the other indices, you might have seen it coming, but it's not something I was willing to risk to get on anyway. And plus it was also very late in the day. So overall, quite a bizarre, slow day. We've seen that happen today, Tuesday, and also yesterday. And again, it's just because we're sitting very high on the dailies. We're making yearly highs, the highs of the last couple of years. And again, the sellers are just not really there at the moment, even though we had a few here, because we're sitting so high on these daily markets. It's kind of like the market. The buyers are just strangling the markets, and from there we're just seeing these slow grinding markets. What we really want to see is a pullback, and then a pullback again, and breaking down to support levels on the daily charts, and that will bring in a lot more directional moves and a lot more tradable markets. So at this stage here, it doesn't mean the market's untradeable, it just means that we're getting flatter markets, and we've just got to look a bit closer for our opportunities. This particular day, very, very difficult, but that's not to say tomorrow or Wednesday will be there won't be any opportunities. Of course we'll look, and there definitely we're hoping there will be, and a good chance is that there will be some opportunities there. So still always turn up and look for those chances. Alright guys, I'll speak to you soon.